Hey guys, so now we're going to be explaining the anxious attachment style, talking a bit about it because, like I said, majority of you guys are anxiously attached, but majority of your loved ones, I always call them targets, and I understand that this is maybe not the nicest nickname, but I kind of like it. I hope you guys don't mind. Anyways, majority of your loved ones are avoidance. So please, if you haven't watched the audio I made before this one about avoidant attachment style, because it could really answer some questions for some of you. Some of you already know all of this, some of you don't. This is an informative channel, so obviously, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about anxious attachment style now. So, now, for those with an anxious attachment style, um, love often looks like or feels like a roller coaster. So there are high highs and there are low lows, devastating lows, even like really, really devastating lows, like the tower moments from the tarot. So the core of this style is like a hyper vigilant nervous system, like very hyper. And usually this type of nervous system will always be scanning for signs of abandonment all the time. So this is why you're gonna be like reactive when you are texting with somebody and they don't text back right away, or they like leave you on scene, leave you on red. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying because here where I live, we say seen. I'm not sure if you guys use the same expression. Anyways, so it will be constantly scanning for signs of abandonment. So every little thing, every little change is gonna seem like a sign of abandonment, and then that alarm inside of you is just gonna light up, and you're gonna get super anxious and super afraid, and that's basically how it works. Now, why does it happen? Again, this attachment style will usually, not always, but usually, again, we can't generalize anything. We can't generalize attachment styles, but we can talk about how it usually works, right? Usually it will develop in childhood, again. And in majority of the cases, it will be when, your parents or your caregivers, whoever you grew up with, were inconsistent. So basically, if you were abandoned as a child, if your parents got a divorce, or if one of your parents passed away, or if you just grew up without one parent, or whatever the situation was, basically sometimes the parents were there and sometimes they were not. It doesn't have to mean that they physically abandoned you, but you felt like that. Sometimes they were emotionally unavailable or physically unavailable. So all sorts of situations regarding that can, trigger this attachment style. So basically, that creates a limiting belief, and that limiting belief, there's different ones. I'm not chosen. I'm not good enough. I have to work hard to keep love, to earn love. If I stop, chasing, performing, pursuing, I will be forgotten. I bet that a lot of you can recognize yourself in this, right? Because that is why you are chasing. That is why you're sending the texts. That is why you have that fear. If you just, you know, don't try anything, that this person will suddenly move on, forget about you, all of that. So how does this attachment style look like? You already know a lot about it, but let's repeat ourselves. So you have a constant need for reassurance. So constant need, constantly checking the phone, constantly needing to hear "I love you," "I miss you." You will be asking them a million times things that will bring you reassurance, and this is for you to feel safe. You do not feel safe if you're not getting constant reassurance. Okay, Then you guys will feel emotions very intensely and often take partner's need for space as a rejection. So if somebody doesn't reply right away, if they kind of need some time for themselves, you will just take it as pulling away, which it doesn't necessarily need to be, and a rejection. So it's about you. You are not good enough. They don't love you anymore. A whole tower moment from the tarot again. Okay, now this is very important as well. Usually, anxiously attached people will lose themselves in a relationship. So you will always prioritize your partner's needs because you want to avoid the pain of, being alone, being left. So you will prioritize the partner over you. And this is why we have an issue in my practice where you're putting the ex partner on a pedestal and yourself not, because they are the most important person for you and they're so much above you. Okay, so if we look at this energetically, the anxious aura is unstable. It is unstable. It, chases, reaches out, tries to hook onto another person's energy for grounding. So you have probably noticed, and this is what it looks like. Like, I'm talking about energies, but this is what it looks like in real life. You have probably noticed that if this person does not reply, does not, just give you that reassurance, that you just don't feel grounded. So a lot of anxious people will not be able to just function in their normal day-to-day life. They will not sleep, eat, or they will just not be able to concentrate on work. Like, they will not want to do anything until they get that reassurance. So they are basically dependent on another's energy for grounding themselves, which is extremely obviously bad energetically. And this is why it's so important to learn how to ground yourself so that your spell work can be successful. Okay? So, healing obviously includes learning how to create, that validation inside of yourself, that safety, and how to ground yourself. All of those things that we basically talk about on the channel non-stop, right? And I hope you're learning something. So basically, when I say focus on yourself, this is what I'm talking about. So turning your focus back to your own power, because you're giving your power away. You're putting somebody else on that pedestal, and that somebody now suddenly has the power over your emotions, over your mood, over what you do, over basically the, like, not literally, but energetically controlling you, because you have given them that control instead of, keeping it. Okay. So that is a little bit about anxious attachment. I'm not going to go any further because you have so many audios on this one. And I hope that this was helpful. Um, I'm going to talk about the secure attachment style next, because we almost never talk about that one. And that is the one that we should all, strive to be. So I hope this was helpful and I hope you have learned something.